I am so excited because today we are talking about a subject that I've been wanting to talk about for some time. Okay, so boom bam. I really think I'm going to be trademarking and or copywriting boom bam because I do not want anyone to take that from me. That's like my signature. Okay, boom bam. Before you do anything, let me introduce myself. I am Heather G. I'm an actor, a content creator, motivator, and I'm making a little bit of an announcement next week because I'm going to be adding an extra little title to my name as I branch out into a new venture. I'm telling you guys, like the past couple of weeks have just been crazy with just affirmations from God, from the universe, affirmations within my own self that I am on the right track and doing the damn thing. So God, I just want to say thank you for your blessings. And I hope this video, this subject, this topic really resonates with you because, hey, actors, let's talk. Drum roll, please. So you're an actor and you are thinking of whether or not it's time to move to the Big Apple. I'm talking about New York MFN City. You are an actor and you are thinking about whether or not you should move to New York City. I am going to discuss with you, and there are going to be some controversial topics. So why am I talking about this? Obviously, I'm talking about this not just because of my own experience of moving to New York City. I moved May 2021. Yes, this is the beautiful picture of me in my U-Haul. And on top of that, I always wanted to move and experience New York City. And it was no time for any more excuses. I was done talking about it. I was done like, oh, I'll wait. Oh my gosh, the pandemic, no one's doing this, And eventually every single sign pointed to, Heather, if you don't do this now, you will regret it for the rest of your life. And can you just feel the excitement that I'm feeling about this topic? And I really found it in my spirit that I wanted to share with other actors whether or not it is time, whether or not you need the yes or the no, or you need a sign if you should move to New York City. So without further ado, let's freaking get into it. So I need you to get a pen, paper, / notepad, your iPad, your iPhone, your voice memo, your notes, whatever it is, because I'm going to be directing 4 questions with maybe like some sub questions to think about. Question number 1, do not give me some duh, of course, Heather. This question is dumb. No, it's not. No questions are dumb, alrighty? I really want you to really digest and think about this question because of the fact that this is setting the foundation of your journey, whether or not you should be moving or not moving to New York City. Question number 1 is, why do you want to move? Now, again, don't hit me with the duh, I want to move for my acting career. Nope, I don't want to hear that BS. Why do you want to move to New York City? The reason why this question is so important, and the reason why it's so important for you to really discern the answer to that question, is because you're going to need the answer to that question, the deep down, all up inside answer to that question, before I get you to ask yourself question number 2, which is one of my favorite questions that I honestly had to freaking ask my own self. Which brings me to question number 2. Do I see myself living here? I'm talking about living here. Now, you move into New York City to advance your acting career is one thing, alrighty? But I mean, have you looked around? Have you looked at your life? Is your life 24/7 acting, or do you have a whole other life outside of it? Are you connecting with your family, with your friends? Do you have a hobby? Do you love playing the flute? Do you love doing YouTube videos? Hi! Do you love doing things just outside of acting? Because with any career, our careers should not just warp up our whole lives. And so you uprooting your life from wherever you are. I'll use me as an example. In DC, Maryland, Virginia, I had buku family, buku friends. Majority of my friends were all within 15, 20 minutes of each other. I had a healthy support system, physical support system, even during the pandemic. And so to uproot that, I had my favorite brunch spots, my favorite coffee shops. I built a whole life in the city that I was born and raised in. So to uproot that, to start all over in New York City, where I had minimal acting connections. I had very, very little friends who physically lived in New York City. And on top of that, again, like I was pretty much starting from scratch. I really had to ask myself the ugly question of, could I see myself living here? And when I mean living, as if I want you to think about how you live wherever you are now. Do you see yourself doing the same exact thing in this new city? Okay? I want to remind you that in between your bookings, in between your auditions, in between acting classes, in between everything dealing with the whole conglomerate of acting, you still have a life to live. And I am not going to suggest for you to move to New York City just for your acting career and then tell you, oh yeah, move to New York City for your acting career. And you completely ixnay the rest of your days, of your life. When I first moved here, I was more excited, like I'll be honest with you, about experiencing new things, about checking the city out, exploring it, about just being a New Yorker, just walking, just going to the bodega, just grabbing this, just doing this, just experiencing the city that I was excited about acting, don't get me wrong. And I was loving when the auditions were coming in and the bookings and everything and the new connections I was making. But I knew I wanted to live here and experience living as a real New Yorker. Okay, okay, sorry, my bad. Back to the subject. So that is question number 2. I want you to think about whether you could actually live here, alrighty? Because the breaks and the pauses in between everything with acting, what are you gonna do? Who are you going to be? What are you gonna try out? Not everything in our lives needs to be surrounded with just acting. Now, with that being said, I'm gonna get into your hearts right now because I'm gonna talk about the big elephant in the room. It's the big F word. And no, it ain't the 4-letter F word. I mean, you may, want to say the 4-letter F word after I talk about the big F word, but I'm talking about your finances. All right, I'm gonna be honest. I don't want you to move here broke. This is the wrong city to move to if you don't got a dime in your pocket, okay? When I made the official decision to make the big move, that was back in February. I moved in May. The little bit of savings that I had before I made the decision to move, that savings all went toward a little bit of debt that I had, went toward bulking up on car payments and everything like that. And then from February to May, it was tunnel vision to make sure that I had at least 3 months of an emergency fund built up before I moved here. And yes, that emergency fund did include acting classes, possibly new headshots if I needed to get it. So that emergency fund, just started here and was like, okay? I do not want you to move here if you do not have a financially stable mentality, because New York is expensive. It is. Now, I really wish I had time in this episode to tell you how much I love as a hobby to find inexpensive things to do in the city. Because yes, there are so many free things you can do here. So many Instagram accounts that are focused on, activities in Central Park, and this happened in the Bronx and this in Harlem and everything. So trust me, there are so many things you could do. My favorite brunch spot is like bottomless mimosas and a meal comes to $20. Yeah, I am not dropping that name, so don't ask me to, because all of a sudden gonna pack up my Sunday brunches. All right, no, I'm kidding. But I do not want you to move here, one, if you do not have a financially stable mentality. Alrighty, the city can really suck you in to where all you're doing is you're moving here to act, you're moving here to advance your career, but all you're doing is working to survive. That is not what I want you to do. That defeats the purpose of why you want to move here in the first place. Now, this last question that I am going to ask is a controversial one because, again, from my own personal experience, I do not advocate, if you do not have any of these under your belt, to just up and move. Are you unionized? That makes a difference. Unless the loophole is you have an agent or a manager. If you have an agent or a manager and you are thinking of moving to New York City, beautiful. They can submit you for SAG and for equity projects, even if you are non-union. Again, I don't want you coming to this city completely overwhelmed with how to get this, and this. When really you should go back to question number one and think about why you really want to move here. Could you become SAG and or equity in your own market? Heather, what did you do? I did exactly that. Yes, I did. I signed with my agents while I was in DC still. But here's the kicker. I told them in my meeting, I am moving to New York City. So let's recap real quick. 4 questions to ask yourself before you really make the decision if you are ready to move to New York. Number 1, why do you really want to move here? What is your reasoning why? Number 2, do you see yourself actually living here, actually being a resident of New York, actually switching your license over from whatever state you in to New York State license? Do you actually see yourself living a full life here outside of just acting? Number 3, do you have a financially stable mentality? Meaning, are your finances in order to move to New York City? Because you are going to experience the expensive side of the city. And if you are already dealing with financial issues or financial loops and the hamster wheel of the subject of finances in the city you're in now, what difference do you think that would make you moving to New York City? So really do a deep dive of your finances. And lastly, number 4, where are you at professionally? Are you unionized? SAG, equity? Do you have clips that agents and managers, really could use? Do you have reps? Are you in a place where I'm not repped, but I got a banging actors access, my casting networks is on Pizzoint, my resume is growing, and I'm getting in front of casting directors? So these are just 4 questions to really dig deep and ask yourself before making the decision of if you are moving to New York City. And did I ask myself these questions? Hell yeah. I asked them like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. I did voice memos. I talked to my executive coach, AKA my mama. I absolutely asked these questions. And I don't want you to feel overwhelmed or to overthink this. So turn off your TV. Cut off the apps from social media. Cut out all the other advice right now and actually answer these 4 questions before making the determination if you should be moving to New York City. Whew. Oh man, that was just Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Please comment, like, and share this video. There are so many of us actors out there who really need some real honest and just like out there advice when it comes to making big time career decisions. And moving to a whole new city is a big time career decision. If you haven't already, look me up on Instagram. My life is Heather G. I also post other things on there. You can follow me a little bit more intimately on there as well. And or TikTok, Heather G Be Actin' though, without the G. Heather G Be Actin', ACTIN though, THO. And I can't wait to see you till next time.